The hot sun beat down on the wrestling arena in River City. Big Show, the gentle giant of WWE, wiped sweat from his brow as he finished filming a scene for his new action movie. The director called out, "That's a wrap for now, everyone. Take an hour break." Big Show looked over at Tank, the strong but sweet pit bull who had been starring in scenes with him. The poor dog was panting hard in the heat. His brown fur was shiny with sweat, and his tongue hung out as he tried to cool off. "Hey, Tank, buddy," Big Show said softly, kneeling down beside the dog. Even on his knees, the 7-foot wrestler towered over the pit bull. "How about we go for a walk and find you some water?" Sarah, the young dog trainer, stepped forward with Tank's leash. "I can take him, Mr. Show. It's my job after all." Big Show smiled kindly. "Please, let me do it. I want to bond with him more for our upcoming scenes. Plus," he added with a gentle laugh that seemed too soft for such a huge man, "I've always wanted to know what it's like to have a dog, even if just for a little while." Sarah thought for a moment, then handed over Tank's leash, some plastic, bags, and a folding water bowl. "Just be careful. Tank's a sweetheart, but he can get excited sometimes." Big Show carefully attached the leash to Tank's collar, his massive hands moving with surprising gentleness. He spoke softly to the dog. "Ready for an adventure, little buddy? Let's go find you some water." They walked away from the busy film set, leaving behind the lights and cameras for the real streets of River City. Tank trotted happily beside the giant wrestler, his tail wagging. People stopped and stared as they passed. It wasn't every day you saw a 7-foot, 400-pound wrestling superstar walking a pit bull down the street. After a few blocks, they came upon the Iron Horse, an old bar with motorcycles lined up outside. Big Show noticed a water fountain between two bikes. Perfect. He pulled out the folding bowl and filled it with cool water for Tank. As Tank drank eagerly, a tough-looking biker with tattoos covering his arms came over to use the fountain. But instead of being mean, the biker smiled at Tank. "Beautiful pit bull you've got there," he said. "People judge them wrong, you know? Just like they judge us bikers. But they're loyal and loving if you treat them right." Big Show nodded, appreciating the man's words. A waitress named Jenny came out from the bar and immediately fell in love with Tank, kneeling to pet him. "What a handsome boy!" she exclaimed. But then she lowered her voice and warned Big Show, "Be careful, though. We've had trouble with a nasty biker gang lately. They're not like our regular customers. They're really bad news." Just then, angry shouts erupted from the bar's entrance. A group of 5 mean-looking bikers was threatening Jenny's co-worker. "Move aside," one of them growled, "or we'll make you move." Big Show tensed, ready to help, but other bikers from inside rushed out to protect the staff. Not wanting to get Tank into trouble, Big Show decided it was best to leave. But as they walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was going to happen. He'd seen that look in people's eyes before, in the wrestling ring and on the streets. These weren't just tough guys acting tough. They were dangerous. They walked a few more blocks until they found a nice cafe called the Garden Gate. It had tables outside under pretty trees, and the waitress, Mary, welcomed them warmly. Big Show ordered lunch for himself and a special steak for Tank. While they waited for their food, Big Show looked over his script, occasionally reaching down to pat Tank's head. Everything was peaceful until a large man in a biker vest walked past their table. "Disgusting!" he spat, glaring at Tank. "Dogs don't belong at tables like they're people." Before Big Show could react, the man kicked Tank hard in the side. Tank yelped in pain, and Big Show shot to his feet, his chair scraping loudly on the ground. At his full height, he towered over the biker, his face dark with anger. "What do you think you're doing?" he demanded, his deep voice rumbling like thunder. The biker stepped back, obviously shocked by Big Show's massive size, but tried to act tough. "Control your beast," he sneered. Big Show put one huge hand on Tank's back to calm him. "The only beast here is the one who'd hurt an innocent animal," he said, his voice deadly quiet. Everyone on the patio watched in tense silence, wondering what would happen next. The biker backed away, but not before making a threat. "You'll pay for this, both of you." He stormed off, his heavy boots thudding against the ground. Big Show noticed the biker was wearing a vest with a wolf's head design, the same symbol he'd seen on the troublemakers at the Iron Horse. His heart sank as he realized this wasn't over. But for now, he focused on making sure Tank was okay and enjoying their lunch together. Little did he know, the worst was yet to come, and his bond with Tank would be tested in ways he never expected. After finishing lunch, Big Show needed to use the restroom. He carefully tied Tank's leash to the table and asked Mary, the waitress, to keep an eye on him. "Of course," she said with a smile. "He's such a good boy." When Big Show came back just 10 minutes later, his heart nearly stopped. Tank was alone, struggling to breathe, his body shaking terribly. "Water!" Big Show shouted. "Please, I need water right away." Lisa, another waitress, rushed over with a bottle. Big Show helped Tank drink, his huge hands trembling as he held the dog's head. Finally, Tank swallowed whatever was stuck, but he still looked very sick. His eyes were glassy, and his tail hung limp. "There was a man," Lisa said nervously. "He had a mohawk and a wolf vest. He gave Tank a sausage. I thought it was okay." Big Show felt like he'd been punched in the gut. The biker had poisoned Tank. "Is there a vet nearby?" he asked urgently. Mary pointed down the street. 3 blocks that way, River City Animal Hospital. You can't miss it." Just then, Tank collapsed, his legs giving out. Without hesitating, Big Show scooped the heavy dog into his massive arms. Despite being the world's largest athlete, carrying Tank while running wasn't easy. But fear and anger gave him strength as he raced through the streets. People jumped out of the way as the BPP giant wrestler thundered past, carrying Tank's limp body. Sweat poured down Big Show's face, but he didn't slow down. All that mattered was getting Tank help before it was too late. Finally, the animal hospital appeared. Big Show burst through the doors, his voice booming, "Please help! My dog's been poisoned!" Dr. Wilson, a kind-faced woman in scrubs, took charge right away. "Bring him here," she said, leading Big Show to an exam room. As he gently laid Tank on the table, his hands lingered on the dog's fur, not wanting to leave him. "Tell me exactly what happened," Dr. Wilson said as she checked Tank's breathing. Big Show explained about the biker and the sausage, his voice shaking with worry and anger. "His pupils are very large," Dr. Wilson said grimly. "It looks like he was given drugs and possibly rat poison too. We need to act fast." She turned to her nurse. "Get me activated charcoal and start an IV right away." The medical team worked quickly, while Big Show was sent to the waiting room. His massive frame made the standard chairs look tiny, but he barely noticed. All he could think about was Tank fighting for his life just a few rooms away. He called the movie director to explain what happened. The director was upset at first about the delay in filming, but when he heard about the poisoning, he changed his tune. "Don't worry about the movie," he said. "Just take care of Tank and document everything. We might need it for legal stuff." As Big Show sat waiting, his sadness turned to anger. He thought about the biker who had hurt Tank, who had tried to kill an innocent dog just for fun. Big Show had faced many opponents in the wrestling ring, But this was different. This was pure evil. He knew the bikers would be back at the Iron Horse. Part of him wanted to go there right now and show them what happens when you mess with someone under his protection. His massive fists clenched at the thought. But Tank needed him here, and rushing in without a plan would only make things worse. After what felt like forever, Dr. Wilson came out. Big Show stood up so quickly, he nearly hit his head on the ceiling. "How is he?" he asked, his deep voice soft with worry. "Tank is stable," Dr. Wilson said with a small smile. "We found a mix of dangerous drugs in his system, but we caught it early. The medicines we gave him are working." Big Show felt weak with relief, his legs shaky as he sat back down. But as Dr. Wilson explained Tank's treatment plan, his mind was already working on what to do next. The bikers who did this needed to be stopped before they hurt anyone else. He pulled out his phone and called his old friend, Officer Mike Torres. Back when Big Show was starting in wrestling, Mike had helped him stay out of trouble, showing him how to use his size to help people instead of hurt them. "Mike," Big Show said when his friend answered, "I need your help. There's a dangerous biker gang in River City." Big Show explained everything to Officer Torres. The threats at the Iron Horse, the attack at the cafe, and Tank's poisoning. His friend listened carefully, asking smart questions about the bikers' vests and behavior. "Stay put," Officer Torres said firmly. "I know you want to handle this yourself, but these guys sound dangerous. Let us do our job." Big Show agreed, though it wasn't easy. He walked back to the Iron Horse, planning to watch from across the street. The bar looked different now in the evening light, more threatening. A scared-looking young man was sweeping outside. "Rough crowd?" Big Show asked gently, approaching the man. The sweeper looked up, his eyes widening at Big Show's massive size. "You have no idea," he whispered. "They hurt Jenny. She's in the hospital. Last month, they broke my fingers when I tried to stop them from fighting." Big Show's heart ached for these people living in fear. "Why don't you quit?" he asked. "The boss knows where I live," the man said, looking down. "I'm scared of what they might do." Before Big Show could respond, police sirens filled the air. Multiple police cars surrounded the bar, and officers poured out with their weapons ready. Big Show watched proudly as his friend Mike led the operation. The raid was quick and professional. The bikers, caught by surprise, couldn't fight back. The officers found lots of illegal drugs, including the same kind used to poison Tank. One by one, the bad guys were led out in handcuffs. As they brought out the last few bikers, Big Show found himself face to face with the man who had kicked Tank. The biker's eyes went wide with fear when he recognized the giant wrestler. "You know," Big Show said, his voice rumbling like distant thunder, "in wrestling, we have a saying, what goes around comes around. Now you'll have plenty of time to think about why hurting an innocent animal seemed like a good idea." The biker tried to act tough, spitting out, "I hope that dog died." Big Show just smiled. "He didn't. And now you're going to jail while he gets better and better." He turned and walked away, ignoring the biker's angry shouts as police put him in their car. Walking back to the animal hospital, Big Show felt lighter. Justice had been served, and the neighborhood would be safer now. When he arrived, Dr. Wilson was waiting with good news. "Tank is doing much better," she said, leading Big Show to the recovery area. "We'll keep him overnight, but he should be able to leave tomorrow." When Tank saw Big Show, his tail wagged weakly. Big Show knelt beside the dog's bed, careful not to bump any of the machines he was hooked to. "Hey, buddy," he said softly, his giant hand gentle on Tank's head. "You're going to be okay. We got the bad guys." That evening, as Big Show watched, the local news in his hotel room, he saw the story about the biker gang's arrest. The report mentioned they found dog hair on one biker's boot, and that animal cruelty charges would be added to their other crimes. The Iron Horse would be closed while police investigated its owner, too. Big Show smiled, thinking about how much had changed in one day. What started as a simple walk had turned into an adventure that tested his courage and heart. But more importantly, it had created a special bond between him and Tank. The next morning, Big Show picked Tank up from the hospital. The dog was still a bit weak, but clearly happy to see him. As they walked back to the movie set together, people smiled at the strange but sweet sight: the gentle giant and his faithful friend. The movie schedule had to be changed to give Tank time to recover fully. But nobody complained. They all understood that some things are more important than filming, like standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. As Tank settled into his bed on set, Big Show sat beside him, his huge frame somehow fitting in the small chair. "You know what, buddy?" he said quietly, scratching behind Tank's ears. "I think we're going to make a great team." Tank's tail thumped against the floor in agreement, and Big Show smiled. In the wrestling ring, he was known as the world's largest athlete. But today, he was simply a man who had protected his friend. And somehow, that felt like his biggest victory yet. If you enjoyed this incredible story of courage, loyalty, and justice, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming and action-packed tales. From thrilling adventures to unforgettable moments of triumph. Hit the subscribe button and join us for more amazing journeys like this one.